What's up, Rangers and friends? I'm glad that my last video got some attention. I hope that trend keeps going. Again, I don't really make money off of this, but it does matter to me whether people are being overhyped and sold a bag of bullshit. And the more I look into this game, Arc Raiders, the more I feel like people are being sold a bag of bullshit because there's a lot of things here that I think most people are going to find interesting. Especially, I looked more into it because of some of the people making comments, and I mean, really, it kind of surprised me that people so blindly put faith in the games. So I'm going to start on this list and go down some things. And I mean, people are free to object to it. If you want to leave a comment, I mean, I'd love to discuss it with people. I always do. And yes, I usually leave more than one comment. I mean, I had somebody throw that at me like that was a bad thing. I like to interact with the people that leave, interactions on my video. I mean, I feel like I owe it to them for one thing. I can't obviously get to everybody's comment, but I'll try. Um, I was wondering, like, why in a demo state didn't they release it with an anti-cheat? I mean, that's a pretty big deal because it's a PvP game, and PvP titles, there's going to be cheaters in them, right? And worse. So I did look into that, and I found out that they have another game called The Finals, and I looked into that game, and that's a whole nother bag of shit. So, but I guess we'll start there on the anti-cheat that's on The Finals, which most likely will be the anti-cheat that'll be on Arc Raiders. So, if they indeed go with Deneuve, it's got quite a lot of complaints. I mean, I don't know much about anti-cheats. I just, I'm no expert. I don't freaking program or nothing, but it's got a lot of negative reviews. Like, a lot of people don't use it because apparently it runs when the game's not running. And it gets your information off your computer. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how that would work on an Xbox, but I would imagine it'd kind of be the same way, right? I mean, these complaints, there's a lot of them. I was going through them, and some of them are pretty bad. I mean, people have sued over this stuff. So, some of the now look, they could obviously choose a different anti-cheat, but why would they? I mean, they've been using the same one, and either way, this goes back to my original statement that not having an anti-cheat, what is it, 6 days from release? I mean, that's a really big red flag, and we're going to get into a lot of other red flags here, and I really hope that people listen to me on this and just hold off. I mean, if that's at least, if the game survives, if it's good, right, then you lost nothing. I mean, except, I guess, what do they call that? FOMO, fear of missing out, which I'm not for that. I got hundreds of games I can play and do titles on. I'm not really that worried about it. And I hope that the people I've earned their trust in will come back to me regardless of what I'm playing. You know what I mean? Because I'm only going to play games. I'm not getting ripped off like I did for Battlefield 6. I cannot stand that game. I'm not even getting into it. I'll get into that in another video. But let's go back to Arc Raiders, because there's a couple other things that connect to this that I want to bring out besides the anti-cheat. There's another game that Embark produced and put out called The Finals, and I had somebody like arguing this point who happened to be really hyping it too. It was really weird, to be honest with you, like saying things like it has the most honest monetization scheme I've ever seen. That's a spooky response to me. Most people are not for monetization in any forms. They tolerate it, sure, but I mean, this is like, yay, they have monetization in the game. All right, well, let's talk about the finals, okay, and go over some of the stats for the finals. Okay, so what I got here is the finals, which I didn't spend a whole lot of time looking into the game because I really don't care. I'm not going to play it. I looked at the gameplay. I've read some commentary. It's not a game I'd be interested in. The whole background and lore just doesn't interest me at all. But this was the concurrent numbers. So it released, and this is going to sound familiar to you guys. 242,399 on release day, okay? Guess what its numbers are right now today? 12,350. And guess when the game came out? December 7th, 2023. I mean, does that speak to of longevity and support and, a great title and all that? I mean, I had a guy trying to convince me it was so good I should go out and play it. Because I didn't play it. I don't have to play it to look it up. And there's a lot of other information I can get into on the finals, but like, why? I mean, it's under the same game, like made by the same studio, which I think shows a lot to their intent and stuff. But altogether, it's not Arc Raiders itself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to stick to Arc Raiders as much as possible. But somebody did bring up the finals, and I wanted to put that out there that the finals is not all that good. I mean, the numbers say everything. If anything, the numbers point to what I've been saying the whole time. This is overhyped. They have a history of doing this, overhyping games. Not just them. It's not just them. It's the studio that's backing Nexon, which I'm about to get into. I mean, because somebody in my comment section, which I want to give him credit for pointing out that Nexon had purchased them. So I'm gonna name it now. It's thanks to 517 for the tip. I mean, because he's right. This does say a whole story. This this game has a history of shady, just a shady past. I mean, we're talking about. Sorry, Nexon has a history of this with one of its games, Maple Story. I think Nexon put out also. It was just recently, I believe, that Nexon was fined over 9 million for misleading its fan base, and some other pretty vicious crimes too. And this stuff led to, I guess, customer complaints, and then people getting banned for complaining about it. And by the way, Nexon Studios, they purchased the game, the studio, I think mid-production of this. So that would kind of make sense. Because look, the developers of Arc Studios, I'm sorry, Arc Raiders from Embark are DICE employees. And I think that they really want to make a good game, but Nexon's known for coming in and just taking over a project and then steering it in their own direction. You know what I mean? Mainly towards monetization. I mean, this is looking really shady. I mean, besides the anti-cheat, which look, man, I talked about the anti-cheat. I'm better at texting than I'm talking. Like I said, I'm newer to these types of information videos. It takes a lot of research for all this stuff, and then it feels like it puts in no content at all because you're only naming a few things. But these are really important things. I mean, you got two companies that are known for hyping their games, overhyping them, getting big day one sales, and then people just fading away. One of them that owns the other one, Nexon, is had to pay fines for misleading its fan base. Guys, are we getting in a ding 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 here, or are we following? Is there similarity here in what I'm trying to say? I mean, I want Ark to be a good game, okay? But the more I dig into it, the more I'm convinced it's not gonna be. And the most important thing to me isn't even a gaming experience. It's more that the people that trust me to get them information is going to get them the correct information if I can. I mean, I'm no freaking research analyst. But some of these defenses to this game are just ridiculous. I mean, they're from fanboys. And like I said, PvP hard ones. That's their life. And there's plenty of PvP games out there people can get into. And anybody who says this game is designed, again, for PvP is out of their fucking mind. I mean, it has no proper aiming system. It has no aim down sights. Like, that isn't a minor thing. That's a major thing. I mean, it has no aim down sights. So, and if you ever tried to use one of the guns to shoot farther out, the zoom on it, how slow it is, you know, you aim and then it zooms in further later on. Why don't they just add ADS? Every other game that deals with PvP, and I would say even non-PvP, PvE, uses ADS for a reason. Somebody else was mentioning to me how, I don't know, playing third person is relaxing or, you know, something like that, and it could open up tactical experiences. How? And by the way, there's already a game like that. It's called Vigor. If you want to play a game like that, you could go and play that. Why is that game dead? You know, because nobody wants to play a game like that. I mean, look, Ark has a chance here, guys. It really does. It could appeal to the PvE community, or at least, look, this is my idea on the game, okay? Instead of having everybody blasting each other, which makes no sense, it doesn't jive with the story that we were driven underground, we're fighting this giant AI army, and we have to, you know, save the planet or whatever, yet we're blowing each other away on the surface. Does that make sense to anybody? Would you do that? You know what I mean? If you were the last of, say, 2,000 or 5,000 survivors, which I don't know the full story behind this, but that I'm pretty sure that's the idea it's getting behind, would you be out shooting people? I think another commenter that was in my comment section was making a good point where he was saying, no, those people would lose access to services in the city. And that would make more sense because they want to keep their people alive. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure I mentioned it next time when they purchased it, they have a really dirty reputation about not letting their devs express themselves, taking over projects, and yeah, monetization, heavy monetization. I mean, and I have no idea if that would be, something that it looks like it was already in there in the demo. I mean, not in purchasing. Yeah, no, there was a store in there. I mean, so as far as I remember, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure somebody will in the comments. I can't get by nothing on here, but to everybody that's out there saying that this wasn't a PVE experience, I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't a PVE, a cooperative PVE, and it wasn't advertised at that. You're simply wrong. I'm sorry, but you are. I mean, they even in these articles, it's going into saying how they changed directions. The developers themselves, okay, flat out said that they made this game because they hated. They didn't like current PvP. They didn't want to do just another PvP game. I mean, and I think the original idea is that's a good idea. I mean, like I said, I keep referring to it, but Helldivers is a really good point to say that does work. And I've heard other comments like, I don't know, the majority of people this, opinions that, like those are unsubstantiated. Really, that's just somebody's thoughts and feelings. I've seen no numbers to back that the majority of people that play video games play PvP or any of that other stuff. And when I press people on it, they back off. You know what I mean? Like they try to change the topic and stuff. Why is anybody defending this game already? You know what I mean? It hasn't even released. I get it. Some of you guys did the testing or whatever. Who cares? I mean, again, do I need to remind you? Nexon is known for misleading, customers. I mean, they were fined for it. They have a history for this. Again, there's no anti-cheat, which tells me that they weren't prepared for it to be PvP, and the story makes no sense to connect it to a PvP element. I mean, if I haven't heard any reason or nobody's given me any reason, and I think a lot of these things I'm pointing out right now, maybe I'm not pointing them out great, I'm trying to, they ain't even floating around yet. I haven't seen too many videos talking about Nexon or doing a deep dive into them and the Deneuve anti-cheat that they're using on the finals. And again, the finals, which is a flop right now, I mean, I don't know again why someone would point to that game and say, hey, that proves it. I mean, again, it just proves that I was saying the initial server numbers on this game for Embark was 242,399, and today it's 12,350 guys. 12,350. That's probably the employees at the company that are playing it. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I don't look. At the end of the day, we all have to decide what we're gonna buy. But me, what I want to do with this channel, what I would like to do, is to make sure that nothing like Battlefield 6 happens again. Has anybody recently felt like they're overhyping video games just to get sales out? Just to get just to make money, in that first day. And then once they got their money in your pocket, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, if anybody remembers, like, the day before and what we went through with that garbage, and I bought that, even though there was red flags I should have noticed, which is another reason why I'm even doing this video, to be honest with you, because I don't have faith in the information we're getting. Like I said, it just feels like a tactic to overhype a game before it comes out, and especially to a starved fan base, okay? Like, how many good games have released that we've all liked? It ain't filled with, like, DEI garbage or any of that other crap that we can't enjoy it, that has too much femme fatale in it, you know what I mean? And then here comes a game. Well, it's been a couple now, because Battlefield, they did the same exact thing with. They overhyped that game to the heavens and back. I mean, I saw accounts being made fresh. It had like 2,000-3,000 people viewing it, and that was almost their only content. I mean, they didn't have a history. Like, I got over 100 hours viewed over that. I got over 100 videos between here and my community page, and also I'm on Rumble. I mean, I'm trying to get my voice out there, like I said, because I really feel like this is becoming like an industry to lie to people just to get the first day sales. After that, man, it's all gravy train, right? You're stuck with that purchase. When I bought Battlefield 6, within the first hour, I knew it was garbage. It was not a game for me. I mean, I know there's some of you out there that love Battlefield, okay? The new Battlefield. It is not like the old Battlefield, by the way. But either way, I didn't enjoy it. I don't like the time to kill. There's so many things I could go over with that game, and the cheating in there is obnoxious, and I mean obnoxious. So there's not a whole lot that I like about that game that could save it. And I remember thinking, like, then, like, why aren't there more people calling us out? Like, the studio's history, you know what I mean? And just all that stuff. Instead, we just automatically trusted EA because the game didn't have, like, the androgynous male female thing, which it does, by the way, because it's usually, you don't even have a choice between playing a male or a female, which is pretty androgynous, in my opinion. But going back to Ark, in my experience on the Steam charts, it tells you a lot. That's where I like to get some of my information. You can usually tell when the game's going downhill, and Arc Raiders was definitely going downhill. I think if they would have left it up there much longer, I would say in a month after it's out, it's probably going to be dead. Because you could see the numbers start. Okay, this is towards the end. I think the day was on, let's see, between the 19th and the 21st. It started at 148,225, and then it was dropping to 71,912 until obviously the server disconnected, and it was on a steady drop. Most people, when they find a game that they really enjoy, they play it right up until the end of the demo. Instead, on this, people are already quitting the game, and not coming back to it. I mean, you can go and look at the Steam chart yourself. You can see it. I'm not saying the numbers are terrible. I'm saying that it points to something. Look, guys, I can't say for permanent or, I can't say for sure if this game is going to do great or not. There's a lot of red flags here. That's what I'm saying. Like Nexon, and their history of overhyping stuff and misleading customer bases, of them being fined when they purchased the game, how the devs themselves said that they didn't want to do a PvP game because they were tired of PvP games. You can look that up. That's a statement from the DICE developers, which tells me that they do have talent, you know what I mean, behind this game, because I'm a Battlefield fan, like the original Battlefield. But understand this, developers can only express themselves if they're allowed to. And it makes sense why we would enjoy the game because, these are developers from DICE. What I think is they originally no, I don't think that. They said that. They started out the game. They wanted to make a PvE cooperative experience, because that's what they labeled it, a co-op PvE experience, okay? And then Nexon bought out the shares, and the developers didn't have any choice after that. I don't know. Whatever happened in the development of it, I wasn't there, obviously, so I can't speak the facts of that. I mean, I could do more research and diving into it, and I'm sure that I'm going to find a whole bunch of shit. I'm already finding out, like I said, I've already found out that Nexon has been fined $9 million. That's not a small amount of money. You know what I mean? I believe it's a Russian company on top of it. So, look, ultimately it comes down to this. We've let these games get way too far out, right? I mean, we've allowed them to take our money just because we're so desperate for a good. All they have to do is put on the skin of being neutral, not adding in the garbage crap that they normally do, and we run with their money in our hands. And look, I do the same thing, but I'm putting my foot down at this point, and that's again what I want to do with this channel. What I want to do with everybody is I want to give you my opinion based on my research, okay? The best that I can come up with. I mean, because not everything is easy to find. Just some of this information was hard to find because I kept running the stupid articles that were like, hyping the game up or hyping the studio. I mean, and you could tell it was false. I mean, once I got down to the root of it, though, they would add in little articles. It was like, oh, by the way, like the $9 million for Nexon Studio. That's not an oh, by the way situation. You understand what I'm saying? So let's go back to the basics, okay? There's no ADS in a game. There's no proper aiming system, in my opinion, because a lot of times I couldn't even hit, like, the arc targets properly because even though it had a reticle on the screen, the way that you leaned would affect it. Also, with it being third person, it doesn't add tacticality to the game. I don't know why somebody would think that. All it does is add ways for the game to be cheated in. I mean, and again, there's plenty of games out there that you can go and play that have that experience, and I guarantee you're going to hate it. I know on DayZ, there were some people that enjoyed doing that, but again, when I really dug down to it, the reason they enjoyed doing it is because they would go up to a wall, and they would cant the camera around to see what was behind that wall. I mean, that's not fair gameplay. That's not a PvP experience that I want. What I would like to see, again, is something along the veins of what Helldivers did, okay? I mean, at this point, I don't even know if I'm going to buy the game at all because, like, finding out about Deneuve and all the other things I've talked about in this video has really kind of put me off of the game, especially the overhypingness. And this is actually where I want to go. So, look, Ark, it's really sucks that because I was looking forward to this game, but all these content creators and these smaller channels are getting bigger. I know my channel's small too, but I'm not out there hyping this game for money. You know what I mean? I'm not getting kickbacks. I'm not getting flights out nowhere. And by the way, it doesn't matter where my channel goes. If it never goes nowhere or if it gets big or something like that, I will never, ever be bought off by these game companies. I mean, I'm a disabled vet and I live off of, my disability. So I don't really have anything to gain. I'm just doing this because I'm a member of a gaming community that I really enjoy. I pour my heart and soul into, and these guys are very loyal to me. They're very loyal to each other. It's like a squad experience, I know, because I was in a squad, you know what I mean? And that's why it matters to me about whether you buy the game or not. And I think it matters to a lot of other people too. A lot of people I talk to, they're tired of the same old battle royale nonsense. You know what I mean? A battle royale with loot added into it. You know what I mean? That's basically what it boils down to. Instead, Ark was on to something original. I think the DICE developers really were the ones that were pushing in that direction before they got stepped on, in my opinion. And by the way, coming in and saying, "Hey, this game is boring," and then changing that mid-stride to being a PvP title, no, man. You come on, that's wrong. If that is the case, and he realized that the game, this developer realized the game was boring, instead of shoehorning in PvP, what he should have done is taken it back to basics and then built it up, or at least maybe went back to the original idea and maybe expanded it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe once you get to later levels, it's just boring or something. I have no idea what that situation was. All games, that are going to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? That are going to be monetized and be online play. I mean, they can add content later on. You know what I mean? And from what I understand, this thing had an extensive testing period in which, from what I understand, it was a PvE title again. I mean, so I'm not sure these people that are out there, they're even saying that they were on a testing phase. And they're saying, no, this was a PvP experience for sure. Well, for one, show me your evidence then. I'm glad to just have a bullshit in the comment section, okay? But what I'm not happy to do is have somebody lie to my face, okay? Or try to convince me. It comes off shady and underhanded. You know what I mean? So let's try to keep the facts in like when we're talking about it. And I don't know everything. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can convince me. So far, nobody has convinced me. But I do appreciate everybody talking, and communicating, because that's what we aren't doing. And to the guy that was making a comment about, like, oh, well, you did your, you commented twice, so you must be emotional or some nonsense like that. Bro, I comment as much as I damn well please. Because guess what? It's my channel. And I get to decide what goes up here, not you. So I don't answer to any show overlords. Nobody's paying me money. I'm not getting no offers from, companies up on the line. And I'd turn them down if I was anyway. So I have something that's, I think, rare nowadays. It's called honor, right? I fought for it. I was taught it. I was raised it. It was beaten into me in the military. And it matters a lot to me. What I want to do is gain the trust of people, show them that I'm doing my best to watch out for them. You know what I mean? And then if they choose to follow me and they get their information from me, great. I'm not always going to be making in-depths like this. What I prefer to make are just long-form gaming videos, you know what I mean? Where I show you what the game is, how good it's done, what it's added to it. Like, I'm doing a series now on MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. And, man, the achievements they've made in that game are just freaking amazing. I would recommend that game way before Ark Raiders. I mean, like I said, at this point, after looking into all this stuff, I'm just not convinced that I'm going to buy the game at all. I mean, I'll keep looking into it, and I'll post up anything else that I find on it. I mean, because there's a lot out there. I was really surprised when I really started digging into this. I didn't think I would find much that was like red flag, but, I mean, it was like every 5 feet. And I haven't added in hardly any of the stuff that I wasn't sure about until I looked into it, Like, I don't know, people are saying, again, that It wasn't designed as a PvP. These are all talking points, by the way. Guys, just go and do your own research, or listen to somebody that's doing their research. Don't listen to these hype channels, I'm telling you. And yet, just lastly, these hype channels, these influencers, okay? Shame on them. Shame on them that they're teaching our kids and the people of America or all over the world, okay, that lying and all that is better. That it's the ultimate goal is to get to the top of the race faster and to throw your honor to the side. It doesn't matter if you're called a liar. They just won't respond to you. I know. I've went to some of these channels and I've called them out. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're making us look bad, That's why I call them influencers, even if they're on YouTube making content like I am, okay? Look, guys, again, I'm new to this, and I'm probably breathing in a mic and everything else. Sometimes this mic positions itself, and it picks up a lot of audio. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure there's things that you could pick my video apart with. But what you cannot deny is my facts, okay? Because some of the people out there say, oh, did you Google it? How else are you going to look it up? And then I went from there and looked at articles, and that's where you start at, though. And literally, for half of these people in there throwing nonsense lies out, it takes 5 seconds. I mean, to do a quick search. Now, I will say this: that Google AI program, it lies. So don't trust everything you get from there. I mean, I got concurrent numbers from there one time. I think it was on Battlefield, yeah, and it was wrong. And it's because I don't know what it's because. I don't know about that. I haven't looked into it, but that really worries me. Because before they started involving AI into a search like that, it would just bring up articles, and then it would culminate all that data, and that whole data stack would be put out, and you could actually go down lines. Now it just puts out, oh yes it was, and then gives you false information, basically opinions. And I hate to say it, but it looks like to me maybe some programming, that was put in there to maybe hype up these products. I mean, I don't know that. That's an assumption at best. That I don't have any facts supporting that, but let me make sure I've covered everything, because this is going on way longer than I intended, really. I think the best thing we can do right now is do a recap, some of the things, you know what I mean, that really glare out, and I'm gonna go over them real quick. Not over again, but I'm gonna list them out real quick. So Nexon bought Embark. Nexon has been fined $9 million for misleading its customers and fans. Arc Raiders was definitely designed as a co-op PvE experience. The developer's own words said that they're tired of PvP titles. Some of the devs there are quality devs. They're from DICE. Why did they release a demo out without any kind of cheat protection? Why haven't they added an anti-cheat for to the game even now, so close to its launch? A reference game, like a game that Embark worked on before, is called The Finals, and it's pretty much dead. It's got 12,000 concurrent players, you know what I mean? I guess it ain't dead, but that's not like, I mean, we're talking about another drop. It was like 200 and some thousand concurrent in the beginning, and then it dropped that low. There's a reason for that happening, guys. You know what I mean? That doesn't just happen for no reason. Again, I will point to Helldivers, okay? I mean, sure, games grow old over time. I get that. But this happened really fast. Remember that the finals only came out in 2023. I mean, it should still be doing peak. I mean, hell, what is it? Warhammer 40k Space Marines is still doing really good, and it's been out for, what, over a year? So, Nexon Studios is known to oppress developer, like where they want to go with the game. It makes sense when you think about it. It fits, doesn't it? Like a key. When you actually accept the fact that, yes, this was a co-op PvE experience. That's what it's made for. It doesn't have ADS. You cannot have a proper PvP match without ADS. I mean, you can, dude, say whatever you want to, man. And that just shows me when you say that you're not very good at PvP. Okay, if you're all for a no ADS system, then I'm sorry, but I don't believe you 1 second that you're a PvP god or you're good. As they try to say, they try to tell us to get good, right? I'm pretty good, actually. The numbers for Arc Raiders were good, but it shows a steady decline. Actually, it was spike decline, but even at, like, towards the end, where people should be rushing to get in as much gameplay as they can, it was on a decline. I think a lot of people are realizing what we're realizing, and I think that there are more of us than these PvP sweats. They're out there claiming there's more of them. Just finding the information was kind of a challenge because I kept running into hype, more hype. I mean, ridiculous hype. And you can tell what hype is because it makes no sense. They'll say a bunch of negative shit and they'll be like, oh, but the future is bright for this company because, well, no good reason, just because I got a feeling it does things differently. Does what differently? I mean, the only thing that's different is the atmosphere. Oh, yeah, and lack of ADS and no anti cheat. You know, the company's bad reputation, the failure of a game before that doing the same thing. But ultimately, you have to make the decisions, guys. The only thing I can do is look up the information and hope that in some way I've gotten you to at least look into it and maybe not rush the game as soon as it releases. And by the way, some of these other things that people are saying are just made up nonsense. I'm pretty sure I said $40 was a price point. It's $40 and $60, I believe, for the deluxe edition. I I get it. I shouldn't pay as much attention to comments, but I don't have a huge base yet to to draw from on that aspect. So I'm going to pay attention to what people are saying. I'm going to take it seriously, especially with my content, my videos, because I try to be accurate. I try to always keep my word. I mean, there was a time when that mattered, when honor mattered, you know what I mean? So, anyway, look, this is more effort than I really wanted to put into the game. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I was done with it. I mean, I was just going to walk away and work on other titles. But then, like I said, the comments started coming in. And there was a lot of good ones, like I said. A lot of guys had more information to help me to make this video. And on top of it, there are people, in my opinion, have really good ideas. And I'm not saying I hate the game. I'm just saying if they have PvP in it, I do. I mean, look, I don't understand why you need to have somebody in a game, where you go PvP and then you got to crawl around. Like I said, with Simon 1471, that, again, that grinds my gears. It pisses me off. He gets shot by a camper, and then the camper, he goes down, and the camper comes up to him, and then immediately your character puts his hand up like a little wuss. I would never do that in real life, by the way. I would never do that in a game. I would just surrender in the game before. Matter of fact, I did many times because that's just embarrassing. But then the guy winds up, cracks his knuckles, and knocks you out, okay? And not kills you, but knocks you out, apparently. I mean, which makes no sense either because, well, anyway. So, but this particular player walked him to the extract because apparently you can still extract even if you're knocked down. And then, knocked him out afterwards. And I had my own experience in there of just horrible PvP toxicity in some of these games. A guy, and look, in video games, I can't help it. I try to play the hero. Look, you can kick me all you want to, but I mean, that's been my life experience. My dad raised me that way. This is just how I am. It's never going to change, you know? When I do experiences, I like to do co-op experiences with friends. I like to do even other people I find out that might be down. I'm that idiot that'll run over and pick them up because that's how I am. I would do it in real life too, you know what I mean? And that's how I like to reflect in a video game as much as possible. That's why I don't like dressing like a woman, you know what I mean, or any of that other crap either. I try to make the avatar represent me as best as it can. And obviously, you don't have to be like that. Everybody has their own opinions on games. They can do what they want to at games. But I think we can all agree that I think there's enough flags here, enough red flags, to where people should maybe just wait, see what happens. I don't even think Ark has decided yet because the polls in the game. Like, what was up with all the polls over and over again, I mean, I think that says a lot about whether they're sure in the direction that they're going or not. And I don't feel like they put a lot of work into the PvP aspect. I mean, so far the only thing I can see is that they made it possible to where you can shoot your buddies. That's it. Again, I could list off the things this game is missing, which is a triage of things. It's so many things. It makes no sense to me that they've spent 4 years working. And why anybody would think that? I mean, I don't think eventually they might bring ADS in here, and I'm sure they might address those things, but it isn't there yet. And again, like I said, the developer's own words, okay, are that the game was boring. So he added PvP. That's not how you build a game, guys. You have a good core loop, and I've heard this a lot. A lot of people are complaining about the core loop of this game. You build a good core loop, and then, after you've flushed out the game, then you add things like PvP. Or actually, you'd be adding them during that, because that would be under the base idea. The base idea for this game, again, proven without a doubt, so whoever's going to say that it was not a co-op PvE player versus environment experience is lying to you. I mean, or they don't know what they're talking about, in which case they're still lying to you because they shouldn't be telling you that. Um, I looked it up, the dev's own words, okay? I could even go into the names of some devs and what their comments are, but I see no point. This video is already going on like 35 minutes. What I'd like to see is, like I said, I'd like to see not as many of my friends coming up to me and complaining because they bought a game, they cannot return it, and it wasn't what it was advertised to be. And it definitely advertised co-op PvE. And again, I think that's a good idea. It would have gotten a whole server in on things, right? So I know it's been a long one, right, of me yakking over top of background video. But I just, I just really wanted to put it out there for you guys and show you that I'm really trying to be on your side. I mean, even though he's fighting me in there, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to be on your side because I don't have to do any of this shit. I can just make another video. That's what I've been doing, is just making content video. Because I enjoy doing it. I want to show everybody the games that I'm playing, what I think are good games, and why I think they're good games. You know what I mean? I didn't even get into any of this, like making these talk videos with information and having to research it, which takes a lot of effort, okay? And barely anybody likes the videos, which, by the way, please, guys, like, share, throw your comment down there if you want, and I'm going to answer you honestly. I don't want to argue with people or fight with people, but if you come at me like that, don't be surprised if I come at you like that. I mean, we're men here, okay? We're not kids, and I'm not going to treat you like kids. I'm going to treat you like a man. So if you come at me like that, just be ready for it. I'm going to come at you like that. But outside that, if you come at me respectful and try not to treat me like an idiot or lie to me, lying is a big thing with me. Don't lie to me. Then I will treat you with respect too. I mean, hell, I run it with you in games. You know what I mean? I run an entire community of people that are great guys. A lot of them make YouTube videos that are far better than mine. So everything I do is for them in a way. You know what I mean? But all right, I'm gonna shut up and let you guys get back to whatever you're doing if you watched it this long, and I don't blame you if you didn't. I'm gonna try to get better at doing these because I don't want to see anybody taken advantage of. But as always, suas ponte and Deus vault.